Hi, and welcome to Organic Cooking with Katherine. I'm your host, Katherine Johns, and today I am preparing a special meal for good friends of mine, Janelle and Michael Cisneros. So today we are doing a Yake Soba, which is a Japanese dish, and it's one of my favorites. And the very first thing you want to do is you want to choose what kind of protein you want to put in it. You can do pork, chicken, beef, and beef is what I've chosen today. So we're gonna get started on that first. So the first thing we're going to do today is we are going to cut the meat, and you wanna cut it 3/8 by 2 inches so you have these wonderful nice strips of beef in the Yake Soba. Okay, so I'm almost done cutting all the meat into just some strips. And then I'm gonna throw it into the pan. Not literally though. All right, so just come over here. And I've already got my pan hot and it's got some butter in it. And I'm just gonna put this in the pan. You wanna make sure that your pan has reached the right temperature and that it's hot before you put the meat in. So go ahead and let the butter melt, get a little brown, and then put the meat in. And I'm gonna wash my hands. So it's hot in the pan and it's browning. And so now you wanna take lemon juice and some soy sauce and a little bit of pepper. So cut a few lemons in half and juice straight into the pan. So we're gonna season the meat. You wanna grab some garlic and you want to finely chop about 4 to 6 cloves. And then we'll go on to all the other seasonings that we're going to put in the Yake Soba. All right. Okay, so the next ingredient that I'm going to season with is ginger. And it's real simple to get the skin or the peel off of the ginger, because all you need is a teaspoon. And I know if you have a silverware set at home, you have a teaspoon. You just want to hold your thumb down on the ginger and help pull the skin away just like that. And then we're gonna zest it. I'm going to take a zester, which is this wonderful, it's kind of like a grater, but it makes really, really fine, delicious zestiness. All right, so we're just going to zest some of the ginger over the pan. Then I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce and some pepper. Now, Janelle has one of these really awesome pepper grinders, and it's kind of like a puncher because you don't really have to twist. You just punch away with your pepper, la la la. Look how easy that is. You only have to use one finger. You only have to use your thumb. I need to get myself one of these. This is awesome. We're now going to start on the green vegetables, and I'm gonna start with parsley first. You just wanna cut off the bottom part because you don't want the stems. You just want to get all this wonderful, luscious green foliage on top. All right, so just chop down the parsley just like this. So just chop this down finely. Now just going to throw that in. Then we're gonna start on the celery, and I'm gonna wash it quick before I put it in. And I went ahead and did this earlier, but if you get a stalk and it has the bottom of it, cut that off first and then wash it. That way you can make sure that everything is free of dirt and it's nice and clean. So just going to rinse it, just real quick. I also like to cut off the top as well. You don't want that in there. A lot of times it can be kind of brown. So just This is wonderful for the yard. It's great mulch, and if you have animals in the yard as well, like rabbits, if you have rabbits that live in your bushes, they love the leftover parsley and the leftover celery. It's just a wonderful treat for them, and you're doing something green. It's also great for your garden. So I'm just going to chop up the celery real quick. Throw the celery in there. The great thing about this dish is that it's so quick and it's so easy to do. And so we're gonna move really fast, and I've asked Janelle to come join me real quick. She's going to be my handy dandy assistant with the carrots, and she's going to just peel them. Have you ever used one of these things before?
I have.
Okay. She's armed and dangerous. Look out! So while Janelle is peeling the carrots, I am going to get started on the bell peppers. And you want to make sure that you get the bell pepper, but you don't want the seeds. So we don't want this part. Again, we can use it as mulch and go green out in the yard. Okay, so I'm going to take this green bell pepper and I'm going to just cut it into nice strips, just like this. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the red bell pepper. Thank you, Janelle, for helping me with the carrots. Okay, so cut off the ends of your carrots, because nobody wants to eat the ends. And the carrots are going to be a really nice addition to this dish because it's going to add a wonderful sweetness, and they're always full of flavor. And like your granny always says, they're good for your eyes. And with this dish, you really want to make sure that you cook the vegetables in this order because this is the order in which they cook. So I am putting them in according to how long they take to cook, because by the time I get finished with all the vegetables, we'll just about be ready. There we go. And just throw those in. Opa! All right, so now we're going to go on to the next vegetable, the mushrooms. And let me tell you, you really want to make sure you wash these first. So I'll be right back. Okay, so now we're going to take the mushrooms and we're just going to slice them up real quick. And in Japanese, mushrooms, you know, you have all your different flavors. You have sweet, and you have spicy, and you have sour, and you have bitter. But mushrooms have the flavor of what the Japanese call umami, which is a whole other flavor all by its own. But when you think of mushrooms, you can think of umami. It's a very savory, rich flavor. And through the magic of television, I just wave my hands and voila, they're all chopped. Throw the mushrooms in the pan. So I've got the mushrooms in here now, and I'm going to take some crushed red pepper and just sprinkle that in there. All right, now on to the onions. I have a yellow onion and I have a purple onion as well. In Japanese culture, they believe that you are healthiest when you eat all the colors. So cut off the ends of the onion, then cut the onion in half. Peel off the outermost layer of the peel. Then you're going to take your onion and you're going to make lots of lines through the onion And if you can see, the onion kind of already has those lines. So I'm just going to chop along those lines. So chop this way. And then I'm going to turn the onion, and then I'm just going to chop, and all the little pieces will just be perfect. So chop up the onion. So I'm just going to throw these onions in the pan. So before I do the purple onion, I'm really quick going to put my pasta in my boiling water. It's just come to a rolling boil right here. Put a little salt in there. I've got a little bit of olive oil, and so I'm just going to pour just a little so the noodles don't stick together. There we go. Just a little bit. You don't need much. And I have made a blend of 2 different kinds of pastas. I have a whole wheat pasta, and then I have a regular pasta. So it's healthy and it tastes delicious. So I'm just going to put the pasta into the pan. Now, when you're making your pasta, when the water comes back up to a rolling boil, you then want to make sure you turn your heat down to low. You don't want to just let it boil away, because you want to let it perfectly cook. I love onions. They make me cry every time. I need a tissue. Can you get me a tissue? Now, I am going to put the last vegetable in today, which is going to be green cabbage and purple cabbage. With cabbage, you always want to make sure that you peel off the first couple layers, because generally they're not very bright in color, they're a little dull, and they're not the freshest. So you want to start with the freshest leaves. This would also apply to lettuce. So I've got the cabbage. And I'm just going to cut a little bit of it because I don't want the whole thing. And then you want to make sure that with the cabbage, we're going to finely shred it. So, really fine, thin pieces. And just throw it in. The cabbage doesn't take very long at all. So that's why it's the last piece to the puzzle with this recipe. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to put in is the purple cabbage. And you're probably thinking, why would you wait till the very end to put in purple cabbage? Funny you should ask, because unless you love the color purple and you want your entire dish to be purple, it's probably a good idea you put this in last, because it has such a bright pigment to it that it's very likely you could end up with a purple Yake Soba, which isn't a bad thing, but not everybody likes purple foods. I do. I happen to love them. So, just chop this up the same way you did the green, very thinly sliced. And throw it on top. Just a little bit on top, just like that. Adds wonderful color. And while I'm letting this simmer for a few minutes, I'm going to drain my pasta. It's ready. I think, smells so good. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to eat. In case you haven't figured out, red is my favorite color. So the pan's a little hot, so be careful. But you just want to pour this into the big pot, just like that. I added just a little more soy sauce, and I'm just going to toss the noodles and the vegetables and the beef together so that everything is well incorporated. I have some green onions here. We're just going to chop those up just a little bit. And again, just like with the celery, I'm going to chop off, I'm gonna get rid of the top. Okay, I'm just gonna throw a little bit of this in there to add a wonderful color. Some bright green pop to the dish. And now the dish is complete. It's that simple. Are you ready to eat? I know I am. Thank you so much for joining me, Janelle. I hope you enjoy this meal as much as I have enjoyed making it.
I'm sure I will.
Bon appetit.
That's really good. That is delicious.